If you have had a business for any amount of time, you have probably run into a scenario where you need a set of extra hands. I'm talking team members. It is so nice to be able to hire someone to either knock out some of your client work, streamline your processes, and manage big projects, or someone to simply clear out your inbox. A dream. But in doing that, we really need to make sure that we take the time to determine whether they are an independent contractor or an employee. So what's the difference between the two? What forms do we need to file, and what do we need to do about taxes? Don't you worry, I will go through all of it today for you. Let's get started. So the overall big determination between employees and contractors comes from control. So we're going to be talking about control over the rates, control over processes, and the control over taxes. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the control of rates. If this person is an independent contractor, they are setting the rate or the fee that they are getting paid. But in an employee-employer relationship, the employer is the one that is dictating how much that employee is getting paid. Another thing that the IRS really determines as an employee-employer relationship is if somebody is getting reimbursed. So if they have expenses like a mouse or a laptop or a trip for a retreat, and you are reimbursing them for those things, that really does dictate an employee-employer relationship. And then the last thing under the control of rates is benefits. If you are providing benefits to this person, such as health insurance or parental leave, that really does qualify them as an employee. Next is the control of process. So if you have processes in your business and you have guidelines or a handbook and you are giving these to your new team member as something for them to follow, that really does dictate an employee type relationship. However, if they're an independent contractor, potentially with their own business, they might have their entire system and process under their business that you are then a consumer of. I also want to point out too that an indefinite relationship, like you want to work with this person for a long amount of time, it's not really on a contract basis or a project basis. An indefinite relationship really does point to an employee or employer relationship. I will say there are some exceptions to this, like having a bookkeeper that you pay monthly. Sometimes you will have a contract that you renew every year or every couple of months. That is something that is not indefinite because that contract is for each period of time. And the last bit of control is the control of tax payments. So if you are an employer and you have an employee, you actually have to withhold those taxes from the employee paycheck of income taxes, Social Security taxes, Medicare taxes, and you're actually sending them, or the IRS likes to call it depositing. You are depositing that money into the IRS funds. So fun. You also have to pay employment tax on the wages that you're paying to employees. However, as an independent contractor, you don't do anything with taxes for them. You just pay their fee. They are the one that has to pay estimated quarterly taxes. Quarterly estimated taxes. So now let's talk about forms. Which forms do we need to file for each determination? For contractors, the first thing that you need to do is send them a Form W-9. This is something that your contractor will fill out with their information, whether it is their Social Security number or their employee identification number. They are going to send that back to you so that you can then file a Form 1099. The Form 1099 has that information on it. It either has their Social Security number or their employee identification number. So when you file the Form 1099 and you say, I paid this person $1,000 last year, it is actually tied to their tax return where they are saying, I made $1,000 this year. Fun little checkers that the IRS uses. Then if you have an employee, you are filing a Form W-2. And you probably know all about these if you ever had a high school job or a job in the corporate world before you started entrepreneurship. But a W-2 basically is an employer telling the IRS how much they paid to you the previous year. If all of this confuses you and you are like, I have no idea if this is a contractor or an employee, you can actually file a Form SS-8 with the IRS with all of the information regarding your new team member, and they will actually look at the facts and make the determination for you. Kind of nifty. It's one of the cool nifty things that the IRS does. One of the only ones. Also, a last little thing that I do want to add into that there are actually consequences to paying someone as a contractor when you should have been paying them as an employee. The IRS will actually come and look at how much you have paid this person and actually make you pay payroll taxes when you weren't paying them. So if you really do think that you might have an employee-employer situation on your hands, file that Form SS-8 or ask a bookkeeper or CPA or literally anyone else just to make sure that you have the right determination so that you're paying the payroll taxes that you need to pay or not. All right, I hope this was helpful information as you navigate hiring your new team member, whether it's a contractor or an employee. Also, congratulations on hiring a team member. What a fun place to be in business. I would love to know in the comments if you have a team of contractors, team of employees, or maybe a combination of both. See you next time.